Shalom. This is Brother Gabar, the Lions Den Camp, located here in Jacksonville, Florida. And first and foremost, before I hop into this lesson, I'm going to give all praises to the Most High in their true Paleo Hebrew names and in the Paleo Hebrew tongue. So, Kal Halayim, Le Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushua, Bahashim, Ha Rakah Kodash, Ma'amah. Double honors to the apostles and elders at GMS. Double honors to my elder as well, Aharawan. And Shalom to you, brothers and sisters, pushing and keeping His truth and faith and sincerity unto the end. Salaki. And comment. So this lesson is lamb backing off a lesson that the Bishop Canuck did, basically going into being changed out of these vile bodies, and receiving those spiritual bodies, being changed out of this flesh, these earthly bodies, and being gifted and granted those spiritual bodies, man, those heavenly bodies, to where you no longer got to deal with the infirmities of the flesh, the afflictions of the flesh, you dwelling in the spiritual body created in the heavens, man. And then and this lesson is after I watched that lesson, I watched the movie Avatar, not the new one, the old one that came out a few years ago. And it was just a couple things watching that movie that really stuck out to me, that I want to point out with the scriptures, because it is a spiritual movie. If watching it with spiritual eyes, it's a real spiritual movie. And it's basically the story of the cowboys and Indians, what Esau did to the Gadites, the so-called Native Americans. But within that, it's a lot of spiritual aspects to it. So I just wanted to get a couple scriptures on it. The first one come out of the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 15 and verse 44. It says, "It is sown a natural body, it is raised a spiritual body. There is a natural body and there is a spiritual body." And I wanted to get this because, just on the point of the lesson, man, is, what I'm saying? We got these natural bodies, these earthly bodies, created from the earth, but the Lord also has spiritual bodies, awaiting us out in the heavens, man, in the Shemayims, right? And, and that's part of that reward that hopeful elect shall receive in the end, man. Ultimately salvation, you know what I'm saying? But within that salvation, those new bodies, those spiritual bodies, man, no longer have to deal with the afflictions and infirmities of the flesh, and those spiritual bodies are going to be encoded with, righteousness, man. Man, your mind, heart, soul, and body is going to be 100% righteous. No guile found within you, man. Like Yahushua, and touching on the movie, in the movie, the main character, he get paralyzed in the war, so he in a wheelchair, no use of his legs, he crippled, right? But then, he go through this little program or whatever, and he receives, quote unquote, the spiritual body, man, the avatar, right? And the avatar body, are his spiritual body, for the sake of the lesson, man, is taller, is way taller, is stronger, is faster, is more durable, right? And then the real avatar, like the Navi, the people that they try to infiltrate, man, they in their spiritual bodies, they dwelling in the Shemayims per se, the heavens, right? And not only are they bodies, bigger, faster, stronger, more durable, but they also connected to the spirit, man, and again, in the spiritual sense, relating the movie to the scriptures, man, they bodies are encoded and in tune with the spirit naturally, man, man, it's deep, bro. But by making that point to say, we shall be the same way, in these earthly bodies, our spirit is in tune with the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, but the scripture tell you that, that the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. So even though your spirit is in tune with the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, you still got to deal with the flesh, and the infirmities and afflictions of the flesh, that's attached to this world and in this earthly body, man. Right? But in spiritual bodies, you're not gonna have that problem, man. It's it's gonna be 100% righteousness, man. From your mind, body to your soul and spirit, man. 100% righteousness. All right, and I'm gonna jump down to verse 50, and it says, 1 Corinthians 15:50. Now this I say, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of Yahweh, neither doeth corruption inherit incorruption. Right? And when relating this scripture back to the movie as well, again, when you get into the Navi, the tribe of, which is basically Gad, the tribe of Gad, but when you get into them, they, they dwell in the Shemaims, man, the heavens, what Esau calls space, right? It took in a movie, it took Esau 6 years to get to the planet where the Navi were at, the avatars were at. It took them 6 years to get there, you know, traveling through the Shemaims. Esau, can't do that. They can only get so far in the atmosphere, but in a movie, took them 6 years to get, into the Shemaims, man, the heavens, right? And they gotta wear the oxygen masks and these suits and stuff, because man, they can't function up there, they can't dwell up there, because in those earthly bodies, man, those fleshly bodies, you know. But the Navi who are in there, quote unquote spiritual bodies, man, they dwell in the heavens, they don't need no oxygen tanks, no oxygen masks, none of that stuff, because those spiritual bodies, man, are encoded and programmed and created to, I'm saying, dwell in the heavens, man. You know, to dwell on that vibration per se, right? And it says, now I say this, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of Yahweh, Salakia, neither doeth corruption inherit incorruption. You know, and just like these fleshly and earthly bodies are not going to be able to inherit the kingdom of the Lord, because same reason why astronauts and stuff gotta wear all them suits and protection and things like that when they go into space, allegedly. But when we receive those spiritual bodies, man, that's not gonna be a problem. We're gonna dwell as Yahweh Shem Shah, man. We're gonna dwell as the angels, man. Be able to dwell in the heavens, the Shemaims, just on the power of our bodies alone through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shah. Just point being is we have to be changed. Our bodies have to be changed from these fleshly, earthly bodies into those spiritual, heavenly bodies, man. To even dwell in the heavens, man. So we shall receive spiritual bodies, man, along with that salvation. Yahweh Ratazam, a part of that number. Again, the point I made earlier, those new bodies, those spiritual bodies are a part of that salvation, man. So not only do you got salvation and to look forward to, man, you have new bodies, man. Faster, stronger, spiritually inclined and encoded bodies, man. Like never knowing pain again, never knowing depression or mental illness or never knowing those things again, never knowing any of the infirmities that's associated with being in this flesh, And the main point and the main thing I look forward to with those new bodies is coming up is right here. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 31 and verse 33. And it says, "But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. After those days, saith the Lord, I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts, and I will be their God, and they will be my people," man. Right? And, in common, man, it says, "And after those days, saith the Lord, I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts," man. So in these earthly bodies, man, we read the scriptures, and we study and we learn and we retain those things in our minds and in our hearts. But in those new spiritual bodies, man, those new spiritual bodies are gonna be programmed and encoded with these laws, statutes, and commandments, man, are gonna be encoded with the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shah. You're not even gonna think sin. You're not even gonna think wickedness, man. You're not even gonna think, of going off, because you won't be able to. Just like a programmer programs a certain computer or a certain game to act and function a certain way, man. That's how those new bodies are gonna be programmed and encoded by the Lord Yahweh Shem Shah, man. With His laws, statutes, and commandments. And me personally, that's one of the prime things I look forward to with those new bodies, those spiritual bodies, man. Never knowing sin, never knowing, going off, never knowing, pain, never knowing, anger, never, all these things, man. Well, not anger, because even the Lord feel anger, but just never feeling those fleshly afflictions again, man. No more of the spirit warring against the flesh, because the flesh shall be as like mind with the spirit, through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shah, man. you know, man, and that's gonna be a beautiful thing, man. You know, our kids being raised up in righteousness, man. You know, man, that's gonna be beautiful. Our people, 2/3 of our people, you know, being brought back in the kingdom, man, and in a right state of mind, you know, dwelling in righteousness. No longer seeing our people going off. Like, that's a beautiful thing, man. Con. And last precept I wanted to get is back at 1 Corinthians chapter 15. I'm gonna get verse 48. And it says, Salakia, 1 Corinthians chapter 15 and verse 48. As is the earthly, such are they also that are earthly. And as is the heavenly, such are they also that are heavenly, man. Right? So these earthly, fleshly, physical bodies, man, you know, they wanna do according to the earthly things, you know. And again, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak, because that spirit that's within inside these earthly bodies, you know, they want to obtain into heavenly things, man, those spiritual things. The flesh want to obtain to these earthly things, these fleshly things, right? But the second part of the verse, it says, second part of the verse, and it says, and as is the heavenly, such are they also that are heavenly, man, right? So those new bodies, those spiritual bodies, are gonna be created out in the heavens, man. You know, they waiting for us out in the heavens. You know, a part of that reward, man, for the righteous, that hopeful elect, right? So it says, as is the heavenly, such are they also that are heavenly, man. So again, the point I was making is those heavenly bodies, man, are gonna be encrypted and encoded with righteousness, man. You know, the order of the heavens. You know, they're not gonna know you know, these earthly things, man. So you know, you're gonna be in a line, directly in line and wholeheartedly in line with the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, you know, within your mind, body, and spirit, man. Man, dwelling as those in the heavens, man. You know, dwelling as Yahweh, dwelling as Yahweh Shah, man. You know, in righteousness. You know, dwelling as the angels in righteousness, man. And Khan, that's, man, you know, that's just something truly to look forward to, man. And with that, I'm gonna say shalom.